Hey, hey, scrappy people, and happy Saturday. Today I am making this adorable 12 by 12 layout using my brand new Over the Moon collection that features all of this wonderful space, lovey-dovey themed stuff. And we are going to be starting with a tutorial in Silhouette using our foil. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this constellation heart from the Over the Moon collection into the Silhouette software, and I'm going to make it almost the full size of the 12 by 12 centered to the page. It's not going to degrade the quality of this embellishment because I'm not going to be printing and cutting. I'm just going to be using the lines created from the PNG file, the automatic cut lines, to trace with my foil quill. So I'm going to fill this with black so it's easier to see. And then once we go to the send panel, you're going to want to change the action from cut to sketch. And you're going to want to make sure that your foil quill is plugged in and warming up at this point so that it's ready to use. Okay, so now I'm at my Cameo and have my thickest foil quill sketch pen heating up. It's plugged in via USB and it is warming up in the carriage. And I also have my dark cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. This blue is beautiful. I bought it for my classes I taught last year, and I have a bunch left over, and it's going to work perfectly for this page. And then I have my heat transfer foil that I'm just going to washi tape directly to this page so that when it rolls over it, it transfers the foil to my cardstock. So I'm just going to washi tape this down, make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, now that I have it taped down, and go ahead and put it in my Silhouette. Oh, let's make sure we get this corner too. And we're going to load it. And send it from the computer. You want to go on a nice slow speed so that it gets time to put down the foil, and we're going to see how it turns out. Okay, so now that that is done, I'm gonna check and see how it came out. And I think I wanna add some more stars around here. So I'm not actually going to take this off. Oh, look at that. That came out so good. Oh, it's over there. It didn't even do that. That's interesting. Okay, but look at how cute this came out. You can see the foil there, the shine. So I'm gonna put this back down and I'm gonna go back to Silhouette and I'm gonna add in a bunch of stars, I think, around the outside of the layout. I think I'm gonna leave this center clear, but I'm gonna add more stars. So let's do that. I'm gonna put this back in. And let me go over to the computer. Okay, so this is the same file I had open, and I went ahead and I released the compound path on this heart. Then I realized I still needed it on the canvas, so I duplicated it, dragged the second copy off of the canvas, recreated the compound path so that it just, it'll be easy to delete later. And now I'm going to take all of these stars from the original and I'm going to put them all over the canvas, just sort of scattered about and loosely, just like a starry sky kind of a thing. I'm also going to do that with the dots, and I'm going to make everything, or I made everything a lot smaller so that the stars in the constellation itself would stand out from the background. And then when that was done, I went ahead and deleted the original constellation so that it wouldn't re-foil because it might be a little bit off. We don't want it to do it again, and sent it through my Silhouette again. Okay, this is done now. Let's check it out. So obviously some of it went over the tape. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I'm not really too concerned about it. But oh my gosh, this big reveal. You guys, look at this. Look at it. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I don't know if you can see the glitter, but look at that.
perfect. It could not be better. Now I can start building my layout. Obviously I'm gonna wanna put something here, but other than that, everything seemed to come out all right.
Now that we've got everything all adorably foiled, we can start building our whole cluster of embellishments around these cute pictures. So I'm using some of the frames from the digital kit that I printed and cut, and I'm just wanting to cover up that bottom missing star, so I made sure that that would happen. I really wanted to use that I love you more than all the stars in the sky, but I felt like it was a little bit repetitive to the constellation that was on the page already, so I decided instead to go ahead and use So Very Sweet. And then I'm going to use a couple of different word bits here. So there's no real definitive title. I guess So Very Sweet is the biggest one, but there's no real title to this page because there are a few competing word sentiments, and I'm okay with that. So I wanted to use this ribbon banner that is also from the digital kit, and I wanted it to come out the other side, and then I realized that the the background and that frame are together because they were printed all as one piece. So I'm going to have to use an X-Acto knife and cut a slit between the frame and the postcard in the background of the frame so that I can stick this ribbon banner out of the side of the frame and make it look more natural. So I went ahead and did that. And now I have a bunch of embellishments off to the side that I've already pre-picked out that I thought might work for this page. So I'm just going through and I'm pulling them in one by one and auditioning them on the page. I really didn't have a direction that I wanted to go after the initial constellation direction. So this is just kind of the playful part, seeing what works and what doesn't. It's normally the process that I use when I am scrapbooking. I don't ever go in with a full plan, just sort of an idea that I want to build off of. So I decided not to use the folded stars from the digital kit, but instead to use the sticker stars from the sticker sheet because they were just a little bit smaller and they felt like they would work a little bit better with this composition. Because one of the things that I want to make sure that I don't do is cover up too much of that heart constellation so that it no longer looks like a heart. And I get a little bit close a couple of times throughout this process too, especially covering up that center portion of the heart to make it look less than like a heart. So I need to keep that in mind, and I'm trying to stay aware of not covering up too much of the heart. So I'm trying to build my cluster downward more than I am trying to build it upward. Right now, because I'm using cardstock, I want to make sure that I'm not sticking anything down because it will tear very easily, and I put all of that hard work into foiling that cardstock. So I'm not using any adhesive until I've really decided the direction that I want to go. I wanted to include this Over the Moon for You. I kept trying to add in sort of stars or sentiments that had to do with stars or space or something to make this constellation make sense, and I finally came down to Over the Moon for You, and I think that that was really sweet with the rocket interacting with that moon, but I couldn't really make that Over the Moon for You banner sentiment work until I was just really ready to put everything down. So I'm going to start taking things off and putting them down again, but this time with adhesive, and things kind of get rearranged a little bit, but not too much. They mostly go back down in the same place. But what happens when I start building this is I realize that it really doesn't have a lot of texture and oomph besides the gold foiling in the background. So once I get all of these pieces down, which are going to be basically flat, like die cuts on the page, I decide that I'm going to pop some things up with some foam tape from Spiegel Mom Scraps. I have like this big roll. She calls it the Big Mama foam tape roll. It's really, really useful, and I'm going to use that to pop some stuff up. So I wanted to include this Oh My Heart, and then I'm going to work my way up to the top and work out how I'm going to work this Over the Moon at the top. I really love all of the layering that is happening on this page, and a lot of it's just due to printing out those layered frames from the digital kit. It was like some really easy built-in layering, so if you struggle with layering, that's something to think about. I often include layered frames or layered pieces in general in my kits that do all of that sort of clustering for you, or at least give you a place to start with your clustering. Okay, so I've got this done. I decided to go ahead and tilt that a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little stars from the sticker sheet and I'm going to start scattering them around, as well as those enamel hearts, those enamel heart circles from the digital kit. I at first was going to use the hearts from the sticker sheet, but I thought that the enamel hearts on the circles would add a little bit better texture and a little bit more interest to the page. So I'm going to start with those hearts that I have in my hand, but then I'm going to instead use those circles, trying to decide which of these stars I want to use. I don't want to use too many because obviously there are a lot of stars on the page itself already, but I thought that the ones with the sticker outlines really helped to pop up this composition a little bit from that really dark background paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Once I get these hearts situated, I'm going to bust out the Big Mama foam tape, and I'm going to put that Over the Moon for You up on the foam tape as well. And I decide at the last second that I also want to include these clouds with the dangling hearts and stars. I think that really, if color-wise, finished off this page and made it just a little bit lighter for the eye and really made it more dynamic. So here I am with the foam tape, and I'm going to pop up the clouds as well as all of those little enamel hearts and that Over the Moon for You banner. And I think that gives it the height that it needs without having to add any more to the page itself, like, you know, enamel dots or wood veneer or whatever else you would use for texture on a page. I think that this was a good compromise and I didn't have to add anything else to it. And I actually really like the way that the Over the Moon for You looks when this is done, a lot better popped up. I felt like it was going into that cluster a little bit weird, and it looked a lot better once it had a little height. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram, where we are doing an Instagram hop with this page over on my Instagram today. So if you want to check that out, you can. All right, thank you.